From the mermaids of Weeki Wachee to the southern belles of Cypress Gardens, Florida's full of roadside attractions.
In today's One Tank Trip, we visit a spot that tells the story of Florida's past. It goes all the way from prehistoric times to pioneer settlers. Here's Laura Moody.
It's an hour drive from Tampa, but a visit to a historic property in Brooksville will transport you back thousands of years.
This is Chinsegut Hill, a manor house, dates from the 1840s on the National Register. We had a total of 4 different owners on the property.
We've done archaeological digs on this property and we found projectile points and other things from ancient civilizations.
The Chinsegut Hill site sits atop one of the highest points in Florida.
The first landowner here was Bird Pearson, the first U.S. Landowner, and he gets a land grant through the Armed Occupation Act, and he builds the first structure here, and he's actually a Florida Supreme Court justice. We know through the 1850 slave schedule that Bird Pearson had over 20 enslaved people on this property working at this time, and the majority of them were children. And so for us, we wanted to make sure we just didn't tell the story of Bird Pearson and other people that owned the hill, but also people that lived on the property.
One of those people was Elizabeth Carr Washington.
And her history is really interesting because her experiences on the hill span all the way from the era of enslavement in the 1850s all the way to the mid-20th century, and she becomes a local landowner. So her story is really immersed in the broader story.
The name Chinsegut was actually inspired in a much colder climate.
It's an Inuit word which stands for where lost things are found. And how he got that name is that one of its owners, Raymond Robbins, went out to Alaska in the late 1800s during the gold rush, and he spent time around Alaska and with Inuit communities. And afterwards, he was looking for a place of peace where he could relax and all these types of things. And he decided to acquire this property with his sister Elizabeth, and they named it Chinsegut, a place where lost things are found.
Elizabeth Robbins was a successful actress, author, and suffragette. Some of their visitors to the home were legendary.
And then they had all these wonderful people come here. They were progressive-minded folks, so they did some experimental plantings and agriculture here. And Helen Keller visited J.C. Penney, Thomas Edison.
At Chinsegut Hill, you can get lost in the past and find a timeline of Florida's progress.
Nobody would guess all the amazing stories that are here in the middle of Central Florida.
When you come to Chinsegut, you're not just learning about a big old house on a hill, you're learning about a Florida landscape that's had many different types of people that have lived on it. So a landscape that has this very diverse ecological and human history.
Chinsegut, never even heard of it. Tampa Bay History Center has partnered with Hernando County to offer weekend tours of the home from 10 to 5. Tickets are $5 and can be purchased in advance.